we also had Mark Shapiro speaking at the UBS Global Media and Communications Conference. I know, Wei, you are logging into this on Monday. This is actually going head to head with the AEW special from Texas, and some of the topics that he covered. Very open to the idea of more 2-day premium live events in WWE after the expansion of WrestleMania and SummerSlam. This is a topic we have discussed, Wei, and I think it is only confirms what everyone has thought, that once you saw, especially SummerSlam, expand, the natural question is if they see opportunity, i.e. added revenue, they are going to pounce on that additional revenue, and splitting the Rumble or splitting up War Games. I think all of this stuff is on the table if it makes logical sense for them, and we also have to remember that you're riding a hot hand at the moment where I think you could do 2 nights of the Rumble or 2 nights of Survivor Series. That might not always be the case, but it is today.
It is today. Yeah, absolutely. You strike while the iron's hot. And I everything that they've attempted so far has worked. Like what have they failed on, with these sort of attempts at growth? Okay, like maybe we could point to like some NXT, like what is it, that St. Louis show, maybe having a downscale, but like for the most part, these
NXT isn't killing it on the road. But I would say for WWE, for like a big main roster event, you would have to go back to Vegas 2 years ago when they booked Allegiant Stadium and had to then go, I think it was to T-Mobile they went, but they moved to the arena. And that was one kind of they had to they overshot for that one. But at present, what would you have thought? Granted, it would be a differently booked card, but like this past week or last weekend Survivor Series, like is that an event, like the strength of it, like 2 War Games, or even if we look to January, February, splitting the Rumble, which might be the better test case. I mean, are they at a place where maybe you can't, like, we're talking a stadium, but I think they could probably fill a 18,000 seat arena for 2 nights of Royal Rumble where you have a big title match and a Rumble on both nights.
So if they feel strong enough to do a 2-night SummerSlam, I feel like a Rumble would be even more likely to be successful, because the Rumble itself, both men and the women's, I think are like more interesting. Like they have direct narrative relevance to WrestleMania. They're just more like hyped up matches than I would say most things you get at a SummerSlam. So I actually think it stands a better chance at being a success than SummerSlam does. So the Rumble for sure. This past Survivor Series, they would have probably had to fill whatever show had the women's War Games with maybe a much more interesting undercard, like headlining match. Maybe that's where you do like a Cody match. Maybe you take Punk out of the War Games and put Punk versus Seth Rollins, for instance, on the undercard of that one. The women's War Games alone, just because the build to that one I thought was relatively weak and quick, probably not strong enough. Mm-hmm. But with the right sort of like goal ahead of time in wanting to sell both nights, I think they could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. He also spoke about Netflix, and Mark Shapiro, he's got like a very, very direct, he's got a very direct way of getting to the core of what his thoughts are. And he stated flat out, listen, we know January 6th is going to be massive. What I'm thinking about is June, July. How important are we going to be to Netflix when we're not the new shiny toy? And of course, he couches that with every indication is that it's fantastic. It's going to be a great relationship, but it's a very honest, I think, level of where this thing is in 6 to 8 months. I mean, from all signals, it's going to be a very big 2025 for WWE, and Netflix is a huge catalyst to continue that momentum. And a big question is going to be like the level of sponsors that they can attract. Like that's a big reason Netflix is getting involved here, is what advertising they can get on this side of things with live programming and looking into, where is this thing 6 to 12 months into the relationship?
It's an interesting thought because when he speaks of how Netflix is going to treat us, 6 months down the line, it makes me think about like, essentially how much they're going to feature us, on like a front page or in their promotional materials or just whatever promotional efforts that they have. And for me, I think it's unique to think about because I don't know if Netflix has anything comparable to what the WWE is about to be for them.
I'll tell you, they have one thing. I'm very curious if I finish Raw. Hey, you might also like this 6-part documentary series on Vince McMahon.
I mean, but even that, what I mean is a never-ending weekly episodic television series, that airs multiple times a week. What gives Netflix series pushes is like when they have new seasons, for instance, or like when like, I don't know, just the newest thing drops. How often will they give WWE that sort of push on its front page? Obviously, you think about WrestleMania, like just that alone. SummerSlam coming along is probably going to get a major push again for international audience.
Yeah, that's for international. It's not for US. Yeah. So that's a big part of it.
But like when you're just talking about a brand new episode every single week, will it be in the top 10 every single week? Will they have a separate category for it? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I know you were super busy today, and we are going to go more into this Mark Shapiro interview on Pollock and Thurston later this week, but I thought for Way's sake, we would put together some of the highlights of Mark Shapiro today in a quick, digestible form. So here was Mark Shapiro at the UBS conference.
Our conviction as it applies to the industrial logic of this merger has been affirmed. Record revenues, record EBITDA. We've raised guidance multiple times. We've got a strong balance sheet, significant free cash flow. There's still more we're going to get out of that and beat our guided net savings of $100 million, but also integration of the Endeavor assets, as you said, and, of course, our capital return program, which a dividend and a buyback will all be getting underway. Needs to remain a strong cash flow business, and companies are going to do what they can to build a moat around that cash flow business. But we will go wherever is best to, again, grow the brand, grow the audience, and cash in on the site fees. I would say the marketplace is frothy. It's very sticky. A lot happening, strong table set, and a bullish 25 in front of us.
I've never heard of the term frothy be used in any sort of commerce or marketing field, but all right, I love it. This guy. What a cut. What a super cut from John Pollock. What was that first thing? The first line he had? I mean, conviction. Our conviction as it applies to the industrial logic of this merger has been affirmed. There's a t-shirt.
Wow. It's consider that supercut a bonus, or as we like to call it here on Rewind to Raw, value accretive.
Lovely. What a character. Is he your favorite addition this year?
Yes. By leaps and bounds. Like, he is certainly above any of the other TKO executives, or really anyone at the executive level in pro wrestling. Mark Shapiro is number one for me at this juncture.
If you like this video, consider joining our Patreon, the Post Wrestling Cafe. Multiple bonus podcasts every week, ad-free shows, and access to our full archive. Otherwise, a like and subscribe is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.